This is Dr. Anastasia Chopless, the Scientific Healer at scientifichealer.com. Today I'm going to show you how old sexual ties between two friendly and amicable former partners can stop success cold. It could be a factor that's holding your success back. I learned about this back when I was talking to Diane, a good friend of mine, and we're both energy healers. And over a period of time of months, we spoke regularly. And she confided in me that although she had had a coaching, healing, or counseling practice for over 30 years, her client flow had stopped. She hadn't booked any new clients in 6 months. And this was really starting to worry her. And this had never happened before. She was doing all the same things as she was doing before, going to the same kind of networking meeting, having conversations with people, and all the things that she had been doing before. She had been on podcasts, she had been on many interviews, she even had her own show for a while, and she's even well known in some circles. So her lack of clients was really baffling to her. And so I asked her if she wanted a reading done, and I did an energy assessment of Diane, and she was deeply surprised that an old relationship was holding her back. She named all the old relationships. The way I do it is I just ask, is it a relationship? And the answer came up very clearly and unambiguously, yes. And so then as we went over all the old relationships that had dissolved, and even current, it turned out to be an ex-husband that she had amicably divorced. And she felt that she had closure. She kept insisting that all was all done and settled with him, that closure was not a problem, and they were amicable and they were friendly and they chatted on the phone and there wasn't any problem. And I kept telling her, well, it wouldn't hurt if we just did a relationship healing on that old relationship to see what ties were holding her back. After we started talking and I was doing the clearing on her, she was explaining to me how that relationship evolved over time. So Diane and he had met many years before when they were both married to other people. And they had this instant attraction, and they had met at different conferences because they were in the more or less the same field of work, and they'd met at all these different conferences, and finally they both succumbed to that, really strong attraction, and they started a sexual relationship outside their marriage. And even though they felt a little bad about it, they felt really comfortable with one another. So they saw each other occasionally, maybe once a year or so, and continued on this particular affair. And it was a secret. They kept it from their spouses, and they were happily married with their respective spouses at the time. And as time went on, maybe it was 15, 20 years, they each ended up divorced from their former spouses. And when they discovered that with one another, they pursued then a serious relationship, and they then eventually got married. And they enjoyed a many-year really happy relationship, and for some reason the fire went out and they dissolved the relationship, all in a very friendly and amicable manner. But the way it started was this really strong sexual attraction, and that was still somewhere buried deep inside her cells, and that's what I read from her. And so that old sexual tension and energy still remained a part of her cells. And for some reason, it was interfering with the current flow, including the current flow of not being able to meet somebody new. She had been divorced for several years, not being able to meet someone new, and her client flow drying up. So you have to understand that energy is all connected. Whatever we're radiating out, that's what people are receiving. And so if we're radiating out blocked flow, that's what happens. Flow blocks. And so I did that relationship clearing with her, a healing, where I called back all her energy from everywhere she left it. That is sometimes called a soul retrieval. And as I did that, we felt both a big shift. I've mentioned this before, that sometimes the shift just feels like you're moving over just a millimeter, but it's like really, it's like all of a sudden you're entering a new dimension. And how I would have never thought that possible until I started doing this work with other people. And then as soon as I called back all her energy, I then dissolved the cords that were between the two, meaning these are these long distance cords or lines of energy that can flow in, back and forth between people. So when you think of someone and you're having feelings about them, the energy will flow, and sometimes inappropriately. Normally we flow from heart to heart, which is a healthy flow, but sometimes we'll flow from solar plexus to solar plexus, or from sacral area to sacral area, which is where the sexuality gets all caught up. After we got off the phone conversation lasted maybe half an hour, and after we got off the phone, she had several potential client appointments all set up. And she had signed up in the ensuing 3 hours. She'd signed up 6 new clients. And she wrote back to me all excited. She says, "My money troubles are over." It's like all of a sudden everything started flowing again. And it's been great ever since. So sometimes you can have an old unresolved some part, even though it's an amicable separation and you're still friendly with one another, like I was with my ex-husband. It was amicable towards, after a little bit of, fireworks and things like that, it all settled down. And for every single event for our children, like graduations and birthdays and things like that, we would get together and support our children together. So we were always on the same page with taking care of our children. But, and so we were always also chatty with one another, and we always have remained friends. So it was just like that. But just like with me, my old relationship with him held me back and got me tangled up into it because I was sad it was over. And in her case, she had this old sexual tension that never got relieved and cleared out. And as soon as I did that, then it broke the dam open and allowed almost instantly, really instantly, results. So if you're wanting a fast turnaround in your life, you can get your free relationship healing by going to scientifichealer.com/clear-now. And soon I will be doing this live again. And when you sign up for this, you will be signed up to be able to get the notifications for when the live event comes. And that live event, I don't know the date yet. I'm setting that up right now, but we will have it live. So the links that I just mentioned are in the notes below. If you like this video, hit the like button below, share it with your friends, and be sure and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.